wanna keep us low. They think that we don't know. So we gon' show them that this kingdom about to rise up. They wanna keep us low. They think that we don't know. So we gon' show them that this kingdom about to rise up. Rise, 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 rise. Every time I turn around.
Right, Chapo, get that. You want to be fine.
Welcome back, We Rise podcast.
Oh,
SFBN Rhode Island. My man JT.
From the couch tonight. From the couch.
From the couch. The snowstorm got him on the couch.
Yeah, I got this. I got a situation over here already.
Situation. What's your situation?
Chapo's like all over Mikey. It's like it's not right. He's torturing him.
He got.
Come up here. Come up here. Come here.
Hey Matt, bring up Jay for me.
Come here. Say hi, everybody. Come over here. Say hi. From the couch tonight because of the snowstorm.
From the couch. I'm live and direct from the studio.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Weather in the storm, Jay. I mean, Tahai.
Weather in the storm. Oh,
Right? I know.
That's a good pun right there.
Right? It's a blooper. What's going on? So you should be excited this week, huh? The Raiders are coming up Sunday.
Whatever. Yeah, they're playing the Pats in Madden 2021.
We can't. You lost in the snow. Remember to us? The tuck rule. How many walls did you break that night? How many holes you punch in a wall?
Huh?
How many holes did you punch in walls that night?
That was a bad night.
Did you get in a fight?
That was back in the day, so I'm pretty sure it was a bad night for me and somebody else.
I think you told me a story about that night.
Don't stop.
Oh, man.
What's up? How was your
What's that?
How was your week?
It was good, buddy. It was good.
Good?
It was, yeah, you know, life, the regular stuff that comes at you, you know?
Yep.
How about you? I got you. I have you and Marvin. So,
Yeah.
you know,
My week was powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
Bible study Saturday morning was powerful.
Yeah.
And then Sunday church was powerful, and before church was powerful.
Yeah.
So God's moving in my life.
Yeah, man. No doubt. There's no doubt. I see it every day. You build me, man. You give me iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
You definitely.
Also, if we're gonna go that route, it's not really me, it's God, because I'm submitting to Him.
Yeah.
And trying to do things differently. Because if it was me and you might be in trouble right now.
But there's no doubt. The important thing is what our experience. To you know, tell your story and you know, be transparent about it. Don't be ashamed of it because you know it's what it is. But you can help people with it.
Absolutely.
We got one tonight, don't we?
We got one tonight. And a couple of subjects I want to touch on tonight, which are really close to home.
Yeah, they are.
You know what I see a lot of people going through. I want to touch on like you know, I'm gonna just bring it up right now. Touch on like staying in certain relationships when children are involved, and being prideful and staying there thinking you're doing the right thing the whole time the children are being hurt because you're staying in the situation.
Wait, you're going in tonight, boy. Woo! You are going. Where you got? Did somebody wrap your hands in the back over there today before you came out tonight? Whoa!
I block punches with my face. I already told you that.
Yo, you want to come in heavy tonight? Don't get me started.
That's what. Yeah, I want to go in heavy tonight. What are we doing?
Sometimes,
It's not a greater cause.
you know what? Sometimes I gotta be honest. Going heavy is the right thing to do, but it's got to be done right. But I'm with you, man. Well, who's driving?
That's right.
Who's driving?
That's right. Is there not a greater cause? So I read this story one time. This guy, King David, he went and did some things that he wasn't supposed to do, right?
Mm.
So he went out and he fought a war, and he went out and went into battle with his army, and he didn't have the blessing from God to go out into this battle. And when he went out, he succeeded in his battle and whatever he was doing. But when he came home, all the women and children were gone, kidnapped by another army. So now, while this is taking place, the men of his army are like, why did we go? Why did we leave? Like blaming him, right? So now the women and children are gone. King David's like, I'm gonna. He's like, he's on his knees. He's like, he's thinking about giving up, right? So now, instead of giving up, he says to him, he says to himself, "Is there not a greater cause?" Right? And he encouraged himself in the Lord, right? Because there's another story in the beginning of how he got to "Is there not a greater cause?" But he encouraged himself in the Lord. So sometimes we have to encourage ourselves, right? And get back up and press on and move forward with God's strength.
Go in the kitchen.
You know what I'm saying, Jared?
Absolutely. Sometimes it's even like you don't even. Sometimes when you're there, you don't know where to stop. Like getting back up is about finding that place that you needed to like. Because I think a lot of times when you are down, it's always like sometimes people will be dependent on other people. Like you have to call me every day and will you help me and they could depend on other people to help lift them up. And that stuff is internally that God already gave you that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He already gave that to us. And I think so many times we give that power up we take it away from ourselves because we think we need help. Or, you just have to stop at the beginning and what got you there in the first place. That's where to stop. I always watch before any big fight of mine, before any fight, there was two of my go-to movies, Forrest Gump and Rocky 3.
Oh yeah, Forrest Gump, huh?
Yeah, Forrest Gump. I love it. I watch Forrest Gump and I'll run through a brick wall.
Nothing would stop him.
Yeah. So, but the other one is Rocky 3 when Mr. T beat him, when Clubber Lang beat him, and Balboa felt like Mickey dies, like he was rock bottom, right?
Yeah, rock bottom for sure.
So what happened? An old friend come along, and when Rocky was training for the fight for Clubber Lang, he was in the gym. It was all flashy. He was on the treadmill, stopping, posing, taking pictures of girls. So he lost that eye of what got him there. He left that foundation that got him to where he was, and it became all about everything else. So he needed everything else to validate him. When he was stripped down all that and got beat and he was at his bottom, Apollo Creed took him back to the beginning where it all started.
Yeah.
And that's all you have to do. Go back to the beginning where it all started. That's how you build yourself back up. Go back to the core. Go back to your core value but do it.
Well, that's the thing. Some of us we didn't start with a core value, or our core values were learned from trial and error. But there is a foundation. There is a rock, right? There is a rock. There's a foundation. There is a core value that we can go back to. You just gotta believe it. You just gotta have faith and believe it.
I always felt like my life was designed for me to fail. It was designed that way. If I end up dead or in jail, then or strung out somewhere on drugs or
And
busted
it
out
was
or
supposed
just
to be, right?
it, it was supposed to happen that way. A
Yeah.
lot of people
I thought that
already a lot of people already told me who I was gonna be and how I was gonna do it, and
All the people around you, the situations you were in,
the choices I made too.
the choices you made,
the things I would do to put
the area
myself.
you were in.
I was validating what people were saying about me anyway by doing what they said I was going to do. Then, there's something in everybody that you have to have inside of you that there has to be a defining moment. There has to be a moment that says, that's it. Like I don't
Enough is enough.
listen. Whatever it is,
That's what I'm talking about. Enough.
you can have
Following your pride, putting your pride to the side. Enough is enough. What is important here? What is the greater cause? Is there not a greater cause? Right?
and no matter what, even though the greater cause isn't seen that way by everybody, that's just the way human nature is. Everybody sees things differently. We might think, we might like apples and they like oranges.
Yeah.
It's the way
You
it
gotta
is.
find your greater cause then.
There sometimes there is. It depends on what you're talking about for the greater cause.
What's your greater cause?
You're
What
trying
is
to
your
drag-
driving force right now?
You're good. You're fishing, man. You're good. I taught you how to fish. At first, this dude didn't know the difference between a fish hook and a left hook. Now he's got it down. Yeah. You're good, huh? Tonight, boy.
Yeah.
All right. So you already know my boys, man.
That's right.
You already know.
That's right. So will Jared Tillinghast put his pride aside for his boys? That's my question.
1,000,000%.
1,000,000%.
When they were born, and I brought them into this world, it was my responsibility as a father and a parent to protect them, and this is where you protect children. You protect their emotional being.
Yep.
Because even if you don't hit them and you take them to school and you give them the best clothes and you put them in the best places and you do all the best things for them, if you're not emotional intelligent to your own children, and if you do things that may affect their emotions, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And I think too many people don't think about that. And but the answer to your question is, you got to put love on everything first, and no matter what, when it comes to the kids, A1, number one.
I was watching. There's a movie. I don't know if you watched it with your children. It's called Soul. It just came out.
I haven't watched it yet. No,
it's a good movie. Watch the movie with your children.
I will.
There's a part in the movie where this man was helping this. It was like a soul that never lived life yet, and then it was a man who already had lived life that was trying to get back, who passed away that was trying to get back.
Yeah.
But there was a certain part of the movie where the man was holding the hand of the person, of the soul that didn't live life, like a little infant baby. And so they were going back, and the infant's like, well, you're going to have to go, basically in the light with God, and I'm going to go live this life. We're going to be separated. And the man said, it's okay. I've lived my life. I've made my choices. So that's the point as a parent that we got to come to, where we got to say, it's okay. I've lived my life. I've made my choices. God willing, I have this, still this life after, we raise these children. But these children's lives are what's important now. They haven't had a chance yet. And my brother Ryan says it like this: we're the bow and they're the arrow. And which way are we sending them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. It goes both ways. I think the answer to all of this, Todd, is as hard as it may seem, and as hard as it is for people. Even if you don't, you have to show love.
Yeah,
that's the answer.
Covers
Even if you don't really love, make believe for the sake of
Well,
your kids.
Oh, it's funny because in the Bible it says for you to love your enemy, right? Because they were used to teach, love your brother, hate your enemy. But Jesus said for us to love our enemy because it's easy for us to love our brother. How hard is it for us to love our enemy?
It's not easy.
In that sense, we can be the light and we could change things around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Love covers a multitude of sin. So we're gonna bring on. We're gonna go to a commercial break.
Yeah.
SFBN.
We come back.
Go
ahead.
What do we got? What do we got going on?
We got the People's Poet.
The People's Poet.
This hits home, close to home with you. This is personal, huh?
I think it's personal with you too.
I think it.
I think there's something to be said and learned, and that's the whole thing we're doing here, isn't it?
Hey, we rise, baby. We'll be back.
Rise. SFBN Rhode Island. We'll be back. Welcome back. We lost Jared. There he is. Where'd you go?
Where's Chapo in there?
Taking a hot chocolate?
No, my dog. He's acting funny tonight.
Oh yeah.
I don't know where he gets it.
Yeah. So our next guest, the king of all kings of edifying.
Oh,
let it be known, Jared.
What's that?
The edifying part. Let's go.
All right. Hold on. There's nobody I know that has a bigger list. Apollo Creed had the biggest list in history, right? How many names did Apollo Creed have? This guy got more credentials than Apollo Creed.
He probably got more knockouts too.
I've been trying to memorize his credentials from early this morning, and I just can't. I had to write them down. He's nonviolence officer for the Institute and Practice of Nonviolence by Dr. Martin Luther King for the state of Rhode Island. He's Pawtucket's official poet, a Central Falls poet. He's Department of Health anti-tobacco program from 2011, 2016, teacher, mentor, speaker, MC. He MC'd a Bro for It All, actually, our first one up in Smithfield.
Yeah, yep.
That was what a show that was.
Incredible.
A 5-time award. I sound like we need the red carpet for this dude. I'm reading this drum roll, Jake. Come on. A 5-time award-winning producer, editor, director for Rhode Island PEG, PBS TV. No other than the People's Poet, Jason
Jason Edward Chattel.
Jason
Bam.
Edward Chattel. Jay, this list, let's talk about it quick.
Welcome. Here I am.
Jay,
Is that speed?
can you hear me?
What's going on, Jared? I can hear you real good. I can hear.
Jay, tell me about did the Apollo Creed inspire you by any means? Because I know Rocky inspired me. Who was it? Apollo that did it for you?
You know, Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime. inspires me. Let's just roll out because I formed the head.
It's not Williams Wordsworth, right?
Let me tell you, Jared, we're not here today to talk about my credentials. I know you want to talk about it. He was like, Jay, I need your credentials. People need to know who you are. I'm like, Jared, listen, let's not talk about the poetry and the 5-time award-winning television and, you know, the #1 documentary movie for the state of Rhode Island. Let's not talk about, you know, the 4 albums. You know, let's not talk about the teaching and nonviolence institute. Let's not talk about that stuff, Jared, please.
Jay, that's
we have
listen, Jay.
Really good subject to talk
Well,
about.
Jared, we just lost the show.
Yep.
We have a takeover.
Listen, he's not going to deflect on what he just said is a reflection of himself in the mirror. Everything you just said. Let's go, Todd. Let's talk about let's stay on topic, Todd.
Yeah, I'm ready, man.
I don't know.
Listen, I'm ready.
Let's stay on topic, Todd. You brought something interesting up. I can't see you right now. There you are. You
I
started
brought
talking.
this interesting up. Yeah, I do want
Listen.
to talk about that. So, Jay, go ahead, switch over. So we talked about this. So my topic is staying in a relationship long overdue, but because we failed, maybe they failed before, so you thought this time I will stick it out no matter what. But then does it or does it not become toxic for the children?
Well, it's the obvious answer is it definitely comes toxic in some way in our brain of, you know, our hearts of hearts. You know, we're thinking we're doing the right things. We feel like we're going to abandon our children. We're trying to, you know, make up for past mistakes of, you know, maybe of our parents or our grandparents or grandparents, and what they call that, generational curses. So, you know, it's definitely a mistake to stay in a toxic relationship, no matter how you look at it, because even though it's kind of selfish almost, and I'm realizing that now, we stay in those situations because we're afraid, you know, that the children are not going to get the best of us. But like anything, you can do a whole year's project in, like, say, a week, right? Or you can take a week's time and do a whole year's project, and so it's not about the quantity. It's always about the quality when it comes to our children. They're never going to forget that quality of what goes on. So, you know, taking that step back, I believe, and removing the toxicity of the situation, and that's, you know, the relationship that's, you know, obviously that's not working out, because you don't want the kids growing up with the nightmares of the arguing and the stress of not, you know, because it makes personal things happen to us on the inside. It changes our DNA and who we are. You know, as we grow older, we become like afraid of abandonment and the love issues. And, you know, I know myself. I'm you know, I have panic attacks when you say you're leaving me. I don't like people leaving me.
So I know Jared.
Well, I
Touch on something. I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but like Jason and what happened, because a lot of people, you know, viewing may not have known what happened in the situation.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about that situation.
Well, I always I relish the moment to talk about my son and keep my son alive and relevant, and my, you know,
you know, I think
you can see his face every view. You know, I try to keep him, you know. So you know, you know, so back in 2014, for those that do not know, 2014, July 3rd, I was working on a deal with Cool TV Network. It's a network that on the market share rating is above BET, but below MTV. And I was in a verbal contract at the time with the executive producer, and I was working out the contracts, and he offered me $50,000 an episode with a 4 minimum episode a month I had to turn in. And although that's not big time Hollywood money, to me it was life changing. I was allowed to do my job, and the bills were going to get paid, and I didn't have to worry about anything but just giving out the best product. So at that time, I was on the phone with the executive producer, hung up, and I called my engineer, Edgar Cruz, who is the infamous Beatbox Studios legend over there. He was my engineer, and he was one of my main backbones of my TV production. And I called him up, and we were working out what we had. We was dotting our I's and crossing our T's. But at that time, I was at home. I was sitting with my children. The babysitter just left, and we had a small mom and pop thrift hand store on Park Avenue, and she went over there to bring Carla, Jace's mom, a couple of things, and she was going to come right back because I was in the process of work. They're my children. It's always my duty, but it wasn't my time with the children. I wasn't supposed to be sitting with the children at that time. So I was sitting there with the children so she can run over to the store. And it was time to put Jace down for a nap. And because we were going to the Red Sox, the Ball Sox in Pawtucket. The year before, we took Jace, and he loved it. He loved the fireworks. He loved the atmosphere. He just, he was going there from all the poetry venues and things of that nature. He was, we were grooming Jace. We were grooming Jace for bigger and better things. So, I laid Jace down for his nap, and I'm on the phone with Edgar the entire time. And come back out into the kitchen, and now the twins are in their jumpy chairs. So Kyla starts, crying, and I go over and I give her pacifier, and Caleb's messing with her. So I separate them two a little bit because Caleb's always antagonizing Kyla. And I walk away, and after I got them all calmed down so I can hear her better, and I walk away, and it's a very simple layout, the house. It's only, as you know, it's a duplex, 2 bedrooms, bathroom, hallway, wide open kitchen, living room. Very simple layout. It's not much you can go in there, but I'm basically doing a circle throughout the house when I'm talking, just coming in and out, just walking around. Jace comes back out at this time into the kitchen, starts grabbing on my shorts and pulls my basketball shorts. So I scoop them up in my arm, and I run them back to my bedroom. And at this time, he got under the blankets. So I was like, yes, he's going to sleep. Right? You know that feeling when you're like, success. Success. He's going to sleep. So I walk back out. Now I'm completely focused with Edgar again, talking about what we got to do. And I walk back out to the kitchen, and I come back out. I walk into the other bedroom, come back out. I'm just, my mind's racing. My whole life is changing. I knew my whole life was changing at this moment. I just had that amazing feeling, like, yes, finally, all this work. So now several moments pass. I go back into the bedroom to see, how Jace is doing. He's not there. Where does this kid go? I come back out. I start looking around. He's not with the twins. I go in the kitchen. He's not in the kitchen. I go into the bathroom. He's not in the bathroom. I go into the other bedroom. He's not in the bedroom. A lot of times he plays on my side of the bed, and with these rocks. He brought in these rocks from the house outside. He brought them in the house, and he was playing with them. And I go on my side of the bed, and as I go to my side of the bed, there's a window on my side of the bed. ran to the pool, jumped in the pool.
I don't. Yeah, we don't. You don't have to.
I got him out. And life changed at that moment in time.
Yeah.
I got him out.
So, how many years has it been now?
July 1st, 7 years right now.
So 7 years. Everything changed in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
So Jay lost his son, and they started a foundation, Jay Stahela Foundation, because little do most people know is that from age
1 to 4.
1 to 4 is when most children that age die from a drowning accident.
Right. The leading cause of death for children aged 1 to 4 is drowning. The leading cause of death.
So you start the foundation, you know, it gives you some kind of hope and direction, and to keep your eyes on him, and, you know, to know that you're still living for him and doing for him. But now all these other things come in, all the trauma, and you're in a relationship, and she's hurting, and you're hurting your way, and she's hurting her way. And now the abuse starts setting in, because one person's going this way, one person's going that way. And now, I don't know if you want to touch on a little bit of that, but, you know, you had failed things with other relationships, and you have two other children with 2 other women, and history seemed to repeat itself, but this time you was willing to almost even be put to death, to stay with your children, thinking you were doing the right thing.
Yeah, the first 2 relationships, once it got to a point where I could see it was going nowhere, I left the relationship. I didn't want nothing to do with it. It wasn't for me. And this time, once I got to that point, I was like, at any means necessary. I don't care if I have to die. I have to stay here. I have to stay here for these children, because I was afraid, you know, for them to grow up and not think I love them, or not think, you know, that they're the world to me.
Because it pretty much happened
Twice.
in the first 2 situations, because mistakes you made,
Right.
mistakes they made, but women being scorned, and you doing what you did instead of doing what you're doing now, pursuing your children and relationship, you know, being young and foolish, and being, how do you say it, like hurt or prideful, where you didn't want to put your pride to the side. So you're like, no, if you're going to act like that, I'll see them when they get older, or
When they get older.
you know.
I
So
thought
now
that-
you're willing to fight to the end.
Right.
But is the fighting right?
Well, you know, fighting is never right unless it's
Yeah.
a sport, you know, for the sport of it. And that's 2 people, you know, agreeing upon to have fun in the middle of a ring. You know, fighting is never the answer. So now, you know, what we're doing right now is you know, sticking to our morals and values. It's not fighting. It's sticking to our morals and values of being a
Speak for yourself.
Go ahead, Jared. What'd you say, Jared?
No, you said fighting is never the answer. I was like, speak for yourself. No, I'm
Speak
kidding.
for yourself.
I mean, unless, like I said,
Go ahead.
They used
Go
to
ahead.
say fighting solves everything.
I can't contain myself. I have to hear myself talk. I'm sorry.
So take some of that stuff, like you know, hanging in there, and then what made you realize that it was time to move forward, and that it was safer for your children, that you wasn't there anymore?
I seen myself actually dying and or being put in jail in a position where I don't have control of my own life. And thanks God, I had an incident that happened to me. It was a life-changing incident, a motorcycle accident. I think truly prepared me. I think that accident was there to prepare me for this to come in my future. Not saying that, you know, God wanted me to lose my son, or God wanted me to lose my legs and, you know, the ability to have an intelligent conversation. I'm not saying that. we are responsible for our own actions. But
He allows certain things.
we go through we it's our free will for a reason, and it's up to us to make our decisions, on what we're gonna do. There's like Marvel Comics has, I want to put God and Marvel Comics together like this, but it's a good analogy. Marvel Comics has this Doctor Strange, and at the end of Doctor Strange, he did like 1 million something, blah 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 blah, amount of scenarios, but only one scenario was the right scenario, and he ultimately had to make that decision and die to make that right scenario, come true. So, that's basically for us, and we have our own ability to make our free will. So I lived through a motorcycle accident, which they told me, I lost the ability to walk, and I was in the hospital for months. And as you know, you were training for America's top team down in Florida. You flew me down to Florida in a wheelchair, cracked my head open inside the
America's top what models?
American Top Model. You didn't know I was a model? Look at me.
No, a hand model. Don't get excited.
Hold up.
A hand model. Don't get excited. This guy, you're worse than Marvin. Let's give our brother Marvin a shout out too, man. We miss you tonight, Marv. Marv, we miss you. We're missing our missing link. See how we get ahead of ourselves. We're missing our guy. Tonight Marvin got caught in a snowstorm. I think he's getting shoveled out right now. So
he's like 6'9". I think he can shovel himself out.
I know.
No, I don't know.
So
he'll give me a reason.
So Jay.
Yes.
How's your relationship with Jace's mother?
There is no relationship right now. There's no communication, which is, unfortunate. There's absolutely nothing. There's not even a healthy on both sides. There's not even a healthy way of communicating whatsoever at all right now. Unfortunately.
Not easy. It's not easy.
No.
I understand. As much as, the only thing advice I could say is, as much as you might want that to happen, or if you don't or do, as much as you want a relationship for the sake of the kids, because at the end of the day, the parents can hate each other, but you can make believe for the sake of the kids because we're both adults and it's not about us. Life happens and things happen and relationships go bad. That's life. That's it. And when people realize that life happens and hurt happens and you're gonna get hurt and if you're in a good situation, don't worry, it will change. And if you're in a bad situation, don't worry, it will change. That's the way the cookie crumbles. And when you accept that and you put the most important thing in front, you try to make it work for the sake of the children. So whatever it is, it is. And if it's not happening, my advice to you is lead with love, Jay. Don't engage in the rah-rah. I did it for so long and that consumes us. It eats our days up. It eats our minds up. It affects us in everything we do, all our choices. And at the end of the day, I look at these little guys. When you look at your kids, the greatest gift we can give our children is to love their mother no matter what.
That brings me to this question. Through the motorcycle accident, I mean, I've met a lot of fighters. I've trained with the best fighters in the world. And some of them had your heart, but it's few and far in between that diligence, like where you're gonna figure it out and you're gonna not give up no matter what, even in concrete and whatever, like being able to walk again. That was only because of that approach. So in all that, like, is it just mindless doing, or do you have a why? Did somebody teach you this? Did somebody tell you that you can do anything? Like, where did it come from?
Oh, that's a good question, Tom. I never really. I don't spend time thinking about why am I doing stuff. I just have to do it. It's like a burning desire inside of me. It's not something that I have a choice. There are no choices. It's either do it or don't do it, and there's never a don't do it unless it's not good for me, or not good for the people that are around me. It's not an opportunity to say, you know, why. There's not an opportunity. It's because. It's just because.
You know, they have all these challenges on Facebook all the time. The old school pitcher challenge, that challenge, this challenge. They're all sickening challenges. The challenge, we should challenge ourselves to put good, positive things where the negative things are. To replace hate with love. To do those things that are hard for us to do. Don't do the easy things. If I'm in the gym and I'm working on a left hook all day, who cares? Everybody knows I got a left hook. I want to work on my right hand. I'm not going to. So we make our weak points our strong. That challenge. How about that type of challenge? Where we challenge ourselves to be better than us, than ourselves.
Yeah, me and you talk about something all the time. And that's, I think it's key. Like, understanding that you cannot control Kevin. Understanding that you cannot control anybody else, and understanding that you can only control yourself. And then the other thing on top of that is self-reflection. You know what I mean? So always accepting responsibility for everything.
Bingo.
Everything.
That's
so
right.
What could I have done different? You know, sometimes the answer is nothing because it was what somebody else did. And then you have to give it to God and let go of it, because there was nothing else to be done. But if we spent more time saying, what could I do different, or that was my fault, or I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have responded that way, or watching how we respond, or watching how, I think we can save ourselves so much like trouble. Like, and I get it, because through our flesh and our pride, right? Where did your pride get you? How many times did it get you there?
It got me 5.5 years in jail. It got me
Todd,
lost my leg, lost my nerves and things of that nature. So that's what my pride got me many times.
Todd, I want to say that what you're talking about, and that's a way of being, and in order to be that way and to really truly make a change, that's like super hyper vigilant mind stuff that you have to be. You have to. There's no time to like not think about that. I look at it like this: like, you can have a lot of things over me. The one thing I know that I know about me is my stamina for whatever it is. I'm coming. I'm not like I got stamina, and the stamina is life's race. You gotta have stamina, because that marathon never ends. It never ends until your last breath. You always have to run through life super hyper vigilant and mindful of working on those things. There's no time to rest. We're gonna fail and fall, but if you always have that mind frame, you'll always continue to get better and do better. But it's all about your mind. We already have to think that way. And that's where the power is, where you can really. So I always used to challenge myself, not physically. I know I was always strong. I used to challenge myself mentally to see how long I could be strong. It's not about being strong in the moment. It's about being strong over the course of time.
Yeah.
You follow me? It's a marathon. You got to be strong all the time.
Well, we're going to get to this next point. So when Jace passed away and you went through all these things and, the arguing, the fighting, the yelling, the, breaking up, the getting back together, the breaking up, and you're fighting through all this. Did you give up on your dreams at that moment? And what are you doing now?
Well, to say I gave up on, I definitely walked away from 99% of it. There was a couple of grassroots programs, the fifth grade poetry class, the fifth grade poetry slam, the anti-tobacco movement, the zombie movement for the Rhode Island Department of Health. And actually, I think those are the only two programs I actually didn't let go, and which were actually life saving, because at times I felt suicidal. I felt like I screwed up. It cost me the life of my son, and I don't have a right to live anymore. So, and that's been a challenge, working out those emotions the most, since that happened. So I literally walked away from all that, and didn't even think I was ever going to be back on a mic or in front of a camera, or even I didn't even feel like I had a right to even speak to anybody about being positive or pushing forward or not quitting, not giving up. I didn't feel like I even had a right. So, but we have to go through things, and when we go through these, I mean, at least if we want to at least if we're sitting here in this position and people are listening to us, you can't just learn stuff in a book. You have to go through things in your spiritual journey, in order for it to make sense, in order for it to make sense to other people. And so maybe I was always destined to walk away from it, to sit back right here in this, across the table from you, on your podcast, things on your podcast.
So what's coming up? Hold on. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take a break. Rhode Island, SFBN, Rhode Island. We're gonna take a break. We'll be right back, and we're gonna find out what's coming up for Jason Edward Chattel.
All right. Are we on?
Welcome back. We're on the commercial. I'll be back.
Yeah,
Jared,
Yo,
what up? How you doing?
good. How are you?
So,
So,
through all this, imagine through all that motorcycle accident, losing your 18-month-old son, and
yeah.
he's still here.
Listen, I was touching on that. It's a lot. It's a lot to come back, and it's a lot. But I think he's living he's just has to live for the love of his children and be better every day. And I think he's doing a good job of it. And nobody's perfect. We know that.
I thought about it. I never told Jay this, but I thought about it, and I was like, wow, Jay has strength from somewhere else, because I think these thoughts, and I try to push them out, but I was like, this is my nephew. I was crushed by it. It's the worst thing any family can go through. But as a father, I don't think you can't even bring it into comprehension. And the thought of losing one of my children, I don't know. I don't know. God willing, please be with me and my children, because
I know.
even
for the even for Kala, there's two of them. They're both parents. They both deal with loss differently, and we are in that situation, so we can't even comprehend.
Yeah.
Because I look I don't know. I can look at my kids if Sebastian hit me in the head with the broom the other night, and I grabbed the broom and I threw it into the kitchen and it broke in 7 pieces. And he looked at me. I looked at him like that. Why you hit me with the broom? And I could see he's like, what the hell? So yeah, I wanted to jump off a bridge. But yeah, man, being better than we were, and being mindful, man. It's so everything we do is really, you have to have a strong mind to get through things and to weather storms, because the storms are coming. And just because it's good today doesn't mean tomorrow the tornado ain't gonna hit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, there are keys to successes in life, in anything. I think you need to prepare for certain things, but the more it's obvious, like with Biggie Smalls and Tupac, the more you talk about things, even if they're not part of your life, the more those things happen, right? The gift and the curse, right? So if you don't look at life as a curse, if you're not doing things to bring curses, then the bad things that do come were inevitable anyway. They were gonna come. So you don't spend your time worrying about them. You prepare yourself in life's journey, so whatever that means. You prepare for the unforeseen. On however you look at that. But there's building blocks, and one of the building blocks is forgiveness. Forgiveness is key in this world on everything. I think as in anything we go through, everything's a relationship, a work relationship, a relationship amongst family members, a relationship among spouses, a relationship amongst your children, a relationship just walking in to Cumberland Farms and holding the door for somebody and having a 30-second conversation with somebody inside Cumberland Farms. This is relationships, and sometimes people are not going to see things the way we see things, and you have to be comfortable enough within yourself when they hurt you to forgive and to be in a mind state to forgive in a healthy way, and I think those are that's like a major building block that today's society doesn't have, because today's society, it's about me. It's about putting me first. It's about, my family has to go, don't hurt my ego. Don't do this to us or else.
You.
It's the forgiveness part of it that I think a lot of people are forgetting.
Well, you're right. I'm sorry, Jay, go ahead.
No, I'm with you, Jared.
Sometimes the things happen, and there's takes two to tango, and when the finger's always getting pointed, and
listen, Jared, it don't take two to tango. It doesn't. It takes two to get involved, right, in a situation. Well, let me tell you, my uncle was murdered. He didn't ask to get murdered, right? So it don't take two, right? And then from a perspective from my family, we could have made decisions on going to do the wrong things or the right things. And my brother Ryan talked about forgiveness. Forgiveness is like one of the most important things that we need as a humane society. Without forgiveness of whatever, what does Jesus say? Jesus came for, he's not here for the perfect people. He's not here for the people that do everything right. He's here for forgiveness. Without the forgiveness, what is there?
Jay,
why go through this world if there is no forgiveness? Because someone's going to do you wrong at some point in your life, and you have every right to protect yourself and do something wrong.
And on the other side, you're going to do somebody wrong.
Right. So
but that's what I'm talking about.
Major thing.
Listen, forgiveness is different for everyone. Just because we say it off our tongue, sometimes we're guilty of it ourselves. Me, you, everybody. It's hard to forgive when somebody hurts us. That's reality. And some people can't even think about the word forgiveness. They're like, what? Like they want to shoot you.
The ones that are hardest to love are the ones that usually need it the most.
But the man that murdered my uncle, his father is a pastor and his brother is a pastor. So I wrote his brother and I asked him as a Christian brother to pray for me and pray for my family. And he didn't respond. And then at the funeral, my brother Ryan talked about this is God teaching us in one sense of it all. This is God teaching us how to truly forgive, right? Because it's easy to forgive someone that owes you $5. Yeah, I forgive you. Somebody that takes somebody that important away from you forever until we meet again, like how hard is it to forgive that person? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my brother Ryan said today, I woke up and I forgave that man. He said, tomorrow I'm going to wake up, and if I'm angry and if I don't forgive him, I'm going to forgive him again. And he said, I'm going to continue to do that every single day until I truly forgive him. And that's the way that we need to get to that forgiveness.
Yeah, it's that you got to be mindful to wake up every day. What if Ryan? It's how easy it is for Ryan to wake up the next day and say, "Nah, I ain't forgiving him. I'm going to get everybody," and because his cat spilt the milk, or he's fighting with his girl, or life happens and things happen, and then reality kicks in, and it's hard to stay into that place. I'm going to do it anyway. Even though everything around me has got me all aggravated, and what you lash out, you go right to it. So it's not easy. You got to be very mindful of this stuff. It's not easy. And when you don't forgive and you can't forgive, that only means one thing: you're angry. And that anger is causing you to make choices to hurt people in malice.
Well, they say staying angry and bitter at somebody is like drinking poison and waiting for them to die.
Well, here's what happens also.
So you drinking the poison.
You drinking the poison.
Emphasize that. You drinking the poison and they die.
Waiting for them to die. So you're sitting there, and they're all living life like doing whatever they're doing, and you're in your cubicle like at the office.
Let me tell you. Hey, let me tell you something about life, and you both know this very, very well. When you do things in malice and you hurt people maliciously, you both know when you go out of your way to be malicious, to hurt somebody, or to use a shield as a sword, I'll leave it at that. But when you do that and you go out of your way, it might not come back to you now, but when it matters the most, that kind of energy, that's dark. When you hurt people maliciously, that's a darkness that only the devil causes. There's darkness going on there, and you just have to pray for that. But
you have to pray for them.
But it doesn't get
key right there. You have to pray for them and move on from them, because that's not your focus. That's not your thing. You don't own that. That you didn't do it. It's not for you. It's for you to give to God and move on. It's not your stuff. So you can forgive, pray for somebody, but it doesn't mean you have to continue to be around them if they're living the same way, doing the same foul things, because now they may be taking your focus away from where it's supposed to be, on your children, on God, on feeding your family, working, providing, living your dreams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. People think, oh, if I forgive, I gotta go back around this person. No, not necessarily. If they came to you and they repented and they say sorry and they changed their ways and they turned from what they were doing, then that's different. Now we can carry on. But if I had to forgive you because you didn't say sorry, but I had to forgive you because I had to forgive you and it's the right thing to do, but you're still over there living foul, you're not even supposed to take part in that. Not even supposed to say peace be with you.
Todd,
you do.
Todd, me, you and Marvin and I, we chop it up like this 2-3 times a week, right?
I know.
We're on the phone for hours just sharpening. So but this is the beauty of these conversations. There's a million conversations about this. This is life.
I'm gonna start speaking in the camera.
What's that?
You and Marvin are talking. I'm like, here.
Yeah, everybody handles things the way they handle them. There's we like apples, they like oranges. Democrats, Republicans, religion. This world is all meant for this madness and chaos, and trying to stay in your lane and during all of it is not an easy task, but you could do it. Yep. Hulk, what time's your show tonight?
What time's my show?
What time you going on?
you lost me. I'm lost. Jay, I want to know what you got coming up. Wow. Woo. Since we're getting back to our goals and our dreams, and we're fighting for our children, and we're fighting to be a good father and a good friend and a good brother, because that's what I think we're fighting for.
I got two big announcements today. Exclusively here on the We Rise podcast. We Rise. I got two exclusives. So the first one is everybody that's ever watched any type of poetry, anything over the past decade, and From the Rip has influenced it. From the Rip is coming back for a one-night show only. I see him, Jared. From the Rip,
punches over there.
From the Rip is coming back for a one-night show only. Christopher Johnson. We haven't got Rudy Cabrera in the dotted line area yet, but I can't imagine.
He's like a Marvin Bonds.
I can't imagine Rudy Cabrera.
Nobody's like a Marvin Bonds kid. Get out of here.
And we're gonna bring a couple of special guests, poetry superstars on the stage. The show right now, we just finished talking to the state representative Carlos Tobin over at Atrium. Atrium's going to be the home of the From the Rip presentation. They have a beautiful setup going on right now, a grand stage that they're building. It's amazing. It's amazing, and we're glad that they're teaming up with us in partnership to bring back From the Rip. So you have one opportunity to come out. It's been a decade since we've been on the stage with each other, doing what everyone grown accustomed to love that we did. I got a poster of it over here in the back corner. So yeah, From the Rip is coming back for one night on show. And then the other announcement is we're at broadcasting right now, not tonight from Legendary Boxing, right?
Yeah.
Although that's where you guys,
Whoa. Tread easy.
All right, listen. I'm not saying I'm not. Usually you guys over there, but because of the snowstorm, Jared, you're home in your nice, warm, comfy socks and slippers.
Legendary slippers.
No heat at Legendary. Will be
I brought
frozen.
a company over here from the new home of a dad's perspective.
Bam.
So we're bringing a podcast for a dad's perspective, everything positive on what we can do to build each other up as fathers.
Brother John Diaz was just saying, talking about toxic relationships, but when it comes to marriage, it ain't so easy to escape. I don't know if you can speak on that. We speak on that. You got to check in with us, brother. We're here every Monday night at 6:00, and I think Jay could touch on some of that stuff too.
Listen, we're gonna on a dad's perspective, it's not by far. It's not going to be. It's not a. Let me just clear the air right now from the beginning before even the first podcast. This is not a woman bashing opportunity. This podcast will not be taking place bashing any woman whatsoever. What its solely purpose is to build each other up. Fathers building each other up on any type of situation. So those fathers that are in the turmoil, they don't know how to get out of the relationship. They don't know, they're married or what have you. They're in a relationship. They have children. How do we build each other up? How do we make each other strong? Jared, you said it earlier. Iron sharpens iron. So the father's going to come together and we're going to come up with solutions. There's a law that needs to be changed in this state of Rhode Island. I'm sure there was many other states. The only way we can get it done is get the bill on the floor, and I'm hoping the dad's perspective is going to be the vehicle to drive that bill.
What's the bill?
Well, the bill is so right now women have the ultimate say immediately in the courtroom. We have to come up. There's a bill that Carlos Tobin and a couple of state reps are going to work on. Protecting fathers' rights. The bill is fathers' rights. It's all about having fathers' rights because somewhere along the line, father lost their rights, and we need a say. There was something that you brought up several months ago. It was an article that you read about the
98% of all the world's problems can be related to a father not being present, whether he died, whether he's not present, work, this, that, and then, other things more important, or the mother doesn't allow the father to be in the child's in the child's life.
Can I say something?
Their own reasons or whatever.
Can I
So
say something?
98% of all the world's troubles, listen,
All the world.
Can I
listen,
say-
the
can I
devil
say-
is attacking the men and he's trying to kill the men. Suicide rates are up 40, 50, halfway through their life. More men are killing themselves than any other part of their life. The enemy is attacking the men because why? We can kill off the men. They can't be kings. They can't raise up their families
They
and
can't
raise
protect
up.
their
They
families.
can't protect their families. And now a woman is carrying the load, a double load that she wasn't meant to carry.
Right.
Jay,
And it's
guys,
destroying homes.
So there it is.
yeah,
Ladies and
guys,
gentlemen,
Jay,
July
how many,
podcast, you
how
know,
many? Go ahead. How many rooms do you have in there, Jay?
Where?
At the office over there? Do you have another room?
Oh yeah.
All right. Is it? I'm gonna build an alliance.
Huh?
Like, you remember the Guardian Angels? You know the guy the vigilantes. They go around with the green beret hats.
Yeah.
I'm building a squad to all the parents out there, the moms. We're going after deadbeat fathers. If you got a kid and you ain't take care of your kid, we're coming for you.
We're coming for you.
Jay, set the office up next year. I'm pumped. I'm ready.
We can make that
Squad too.
you know, two brother shows helping each other out. We can the networks, they do spin-offs. We can do a spin-off on that, but I don't mind talking about deadbeat dads, and
We look. No.
I don't mind talking about deadbeat dads.
No matter the excuse,
and
you gotta make it happen. No excuses.
This needs to be defined though. What is a deadbeat dad? Because I know I've been called a deadbeat dad, but it makes you or gives you the right to call me a deadbeat dad?
I look at it.
You understand what I'm saying?
I look at it like this: no matter the obstacle, no matter whatever it is, no matter what, you pursue your children 100 miles an hour with all your heart and all your power to the end of time until you die, until you go into your box. Don't use anything else for an excuse.
I have something to say about that because I was pursuing my children, but if you're not educated enough, right? So
every situation is different, though.
Like
your situation is
doing
different.
the right thing. They teach you this in domestic violence classes, right? They teach you to get out of the situation, get away from the situation, and stay away from the situation until it becomes a healthy situation. But how healthy is it when two people are fighting against each other, and then one of them won't allow the person to see, the children, and if you can't see the children, and you're doing your hands are tied, you've been deemed this monster or something in society. How could you? I'm sorry, my brother's the snowstorm is hitting. How could you push forward through that? Me personally, I just want to talk about myself. I protected myself because it does nobody any good if I end up dead or in jail. So pulling back and doing what I have to do to protect myself, to then educate myself, then pursue my children in a healthy manner.
That's part of the fighting process.
Because if you're being called a deadbeat dad,
but every situation is different.
Your hands are being tied. You're being handcuffed. You're being locked in jail. There's positions being put in place where you can't see your children. What is the terminology deadbeat dad? I think that is a topic on its own. Coming up with the definition of deadbeat dad.
I think every situation is completely different.
Yeah.
The bottom line is this: you have a child, you're gonna go through the shit. Some people are gonna go through it worse than you. Some people are gonna get it a lot heavier. Some people are not gonna get it heavy. Some people are gonna get arrested. Some people are gonna. My point is this: through all that, no matter what happens, don't throw your hands up and walk away from your kids and say this because of this. I'm out. That's not the way to do it. That's what I'm saying. You're gonna get a beating, especially if you already know that's what's coming. That if they're gonna give it to you, they're gonna give it to you. We all been there. But the pursuit of what I love was not, that never wavered. Everything else came at me like a storm. My children never wavered. That never wavered once. I just kept going back and fighting and going back and fighting, and now I'm in a good situation. All right.
What do we got to do right now, Jared, before we go?
You gotta give it to him, man. Give it to him.
I got to give it to him. So I was going to talk about Job, right? And Job, he lost his children. The devil took away his children, his money, his this, his that, right? To see if he would turn from God, and he never turned from God. But so I was reading in the comments, Brother John Diaz gave me this. So thank you, brother. Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. Yeah.
Wow.
Bam.
Let's
Oh.
go.
Bang bang.
All right, man.
Go.
Hey guys, be safe. Jay, be
Listen,
safe. Be safe,
listen,
Father, my
Can
brother.
we come up with a challenge? You know, a little social network challenge. What's the challenge right here? You said, Jared, you brought it up earlier. What's the challenge? You know, obviously you don't like these challenges that are on Facebook. I don't participate in too many of them. But
The challenge is
what's the challenge?
until you hit the dirt, be the greatest father you can be.
There you go.
Just try to be better. Try to be
Displace all
better
the
than we
fathers.
are.
You don't
You gotta add.
gotta put it on display. You
Well,
just
then
gotta
you
do it.
gotta. All right, maybe that's the wrong way. Sorry about that. But you, in order to get other fathers to participate, even those bad fathers whom in their heart want to be good, because I've witnessed it. You know, we have a father ourselves that, you know, once upon a time was a different person, and you know, and he's made many changes. I'm not saying he's a perfect man now, but he's made many changes in his life to try to correct a couple of things, and some things you can never correct, right? Time you can never get back. But in a challenge, you need to be able to. So where's the challenge?
We're
Come on,
gonna
guys.
have to come up with that for next week.
Well, I challenge you to come up with a father challenge.
All right.
Jared, I challenge you to come up with a challenge.
What is in
for
the
good fathers.
what is in the doc will come to the light, and don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing.
It's like a challenge.
Yeah, that's
a challenge?
just do it. Just do it. Don't make a spectacle out of it. Just do it.
You would quote a Raiders. You would quote a Raiders superstar.
Oh,
Who said that?
all right, Jim.
Both.
Oh, just do it.
All right, boys. What's up?
All right, Jared.
All right, guys. I'll see
Peace,
you next
brother.
week.
We rise next week. SFBN Rhode Island.
Get down.